Hey, this is Justin with DayTradeTheMarkets.com. It's about 10:20 Eastern Time on April 17th, Wednesday. Going through the thought process of a potential trade, so I thought I'd throw the video on and just kind of go through it. This is the E-mini S&P, and it's a 1-minute chart. And again, you could apply this to any time frame you want. The logic would apply. Now, heading into this, what we like to do is look at a lot of different pieces of evidence. And so heading into the day, our bigger picture bias is still up. This level here at 45 is kind of our line in the sand. If the market can show some pretty good acceptance below that, then we'll say bigger picture that the bigger picture bias is shifting more to neutral or to down. But for now, we'd still, all things equal, rather be on the upside. Okay. However, what's happened so far today is that there's been more bullish structure that's come, or excuse me, bearish structure that's come in. And by that, what I mean is, well, you know what? Before I do that, let me talk about some of these we talked about the bigger picture bias being up. We also have some levels we wanted to watch. Again, 45 being kind of the line in the sand. But we also wanted to see, could this 5650 area act as support? And when it didn't, could it act as resistance? Same thing here with this 52 level. So these are stuff that we put on our chart before the day starts. Kind of want to see how the market reacts at those levels. Okay, so you can see we've gotten below both of those. So, you know, my thought process here is that we have a red zone that's formed that should act as resistance. We have this 52 level that should act as resistance. Our filter is down. However, we don't have any major, you know, level 2, level 3 selling aggression that's come in, and we're fighting the bigger picture bias. So what I want to do, normally I would just, if this was a level 2 or level 3 bar right here, I would stick a limit order like I did in the video I did yesterday. I'd stick a limit order somewhere right in here. Okay. Because that's not the case, and because we're fighting the bigger picture bias to a degree, I'm going to wait and see what the market does up here. Can we get rejection of a buying attempt? Can we get a decel? Can we get the market to start selling off with more selling aggression, or do we not quite get up there and do we start selling off harder? That would, you know, I might adjust to that as well. So those are my thought processes. Now to break down what we've seen earlier today, the first major structure, again at this level that we thought might act as some support, was this high velocity move. And you can see we pierced right through that level and got some follow through right away. Okay, we tested right down here to the 52 level, to the tick, and had a bounce. And we retested this level, both this red resistance zone and this 5650 area. So I mean, you could make a decent case for just getting short right there. Now we did that on a level 2 buying aggression bar. Okay, so that's what I'm talking about, potential rejection coming here. That would be the similar thing to looking at here, where we had this level. This is an attempted push higher by buyers right into resistance. Okay, so that's kind of a nice scenario that we want to see what happens. Can we push through that, or does it get rejected? And you can see we took out the high by a couple ticks, but not a full bar. Tested the low, bounced off of that, tested again to this red resistance, and then we finally took out the low of this level 2 bar. Okay, so that's telling me at this time we're probably going to go test the lows at a minimum. Let's see what happens when we break down. Okay, so in other words, we've had two what we call major structures, a high velocity move and a level 2 bar. Both of those have been, quote, won by the bears. In other words, follow through of the selling structure, rejection of this buying structure. So that's telling me on the shorter term bias, okay, there is a decel that's come in right here. I'm just going to place a limit order right in here. If this thing gets rejected on some, there's a couple ways to do it when you get a decel like this. And this decel is simply telling us, I just personally tend to like limit order trades. That's me. My partner Dave is a little bit different, and that there's not a right or wrong. It's just a preference. But this decel, what this is telling us, this bar had a higher high than this bar, than its prior bar. However, the level of buying aggression that's happening within that bar is actually decelerating. So in other words, if this bar has a higher high and the level of buying aggression within that bar is actually accelerating or increasing, then we would expect the market to move higher. However, the level of buying aggression in this bar is decreasing or decelerating, so it's a divergent type of a scenario where we've got you know, a higher high, but actually the buying aggression's drying up. So that tells us on the short term the market is likely to turn around. Now, is this something you would just trade blindly every time you see one? No, you'd want to have other evidence working there for you. And you can also look at this as, you know, can it get confirmed? Can this low get taken out? There's two ways to look at that. One is to wait for it to get taken out and take it on a market order down there. to me, when that comes in and I've already got stuff to work with here, again, I was looking to see what the market would do at this level because I feel like it should be some pretty good resistance here. I just want to see what can happen. Now, we're testing the high of it here. Can this get taken out? We'll see. Now, in terms of my stop placement, whoops, I don't need it to be this high. Again, this is a trade I want to be a little bit more nimble with. I think I can risk, I'll just risk 2 points at this time because I want to give it a little space above there. You know, the market can test there and get rejected, but I also don't want to give it too much room because, again, I'm trying to be a little bit nimble with this. So you can see my decel is not really holding so well. So we'll just see. I mean, again, this is a trade that has some edge. I mean, you've got resistance levels there. You've got, you know, bears showing that they're in control shorter term, but you're fighting the bigger picture. So, I mean, I think you can make a case that there is edge there, and that's what I did, and I'm not going to take a ton of risk to see. And if this thing doesn't start turning in my favor, you know, in the next few minutes or take me out, then I'll probably get out. But I still think this is a decent level. If some buying comes in, you know, if this bar turns, you know, dark green, for example, then, you know, I'll move my stop down even a little bit more. But we shall see. Trying to think what else I can talk about here while we're waiting. But again, you know, this is just you know, to me, what trading comes down to, whatever time frame you're on, whatever method you're using, whether you're using this software as a standalone, whether you're using this software as a decision aid, whether you're using a completely different methodology, what trading really comes down to, in my mind, this is a lot easier said than done when you've got money on the line, but what it comes down to is weighing an opportunity versus the risk you would need to take to capitalize on that opportunity, and just making those judgments. And if you can get good at making those judgments and live with the results of those judgments over time, you know, you're trading with an edge, you're trading with probability in your favor, and things will work out in the long run. Doesn't mean this trade's going to work out for, you know, perfectly necessarily, and whether it does or doesn't isn't really the point. The point is, do you make good decisions with good risk reward? And again, what I'm trying to do is I think there is some edge here. You know, I've got some structure. In other words, the key structures that we look at have both been, quote, won by the bears. The key levels, bigger picture, have both been, quote, won by the bears. We've got a resistance level here on the shorter term and the longer term with this, you know, blue line and this red zone. We've got our filter. So I've got some things in my favor. What I don't have in my favor is the bigger picture bias. I prefer to be trading with that, but when I take a trade that's not with the bigger picture bias, I'll certainly, I can certainly take that. I just want to be a little more nimble. I want my stop to be a little tighter. And another way that I like to think about this is, if I'm taking a trade where I know I have to be a little more nimble, I want the market to relatively quickly, and we're reaching that point within a few minutes, but relatively quickly prove to me that I should be in this trade. In other words, start moving in my favor, or show me some selling aggression that comes in relatively quickly. I need it to prove to me that I should stay in, versus if I have a trade where everything's in line and I'm with the bigger picture bias, then I want to try to hold that trade as long as possible, so I'm looking for the market to prove to me that I should get out. In other words, I'm looking to hold it as long as possible, and I'll only want to get out if the market proves to me that I should get out. Versus in this scenario, you know, I kind of am looking for a reason to get out because I'm wanting to be nimble, so I want the market to prove to me that I should stay in. So we're starting to get that. We're down to my my entry point here, and so I'd like to see some selling aggression come in relatively quickly, even if it's a level 1 bar, just to confirm there is some selling that's coming in off of here, and we may get it on this bar. We'll see. And you know, I'm thinking we're going to get that. I'm probably going to move either way. I'm just going to move my stop down to a tick above this latest high, because again, if on this move we can't get something going, then I don't want to stick around for too much longer. Okay, so that's, you know, that's a level 1 bar. Again, you don't want to go crazy on level 1, but that's at least confirming to me that there is some selling that's coming into the market. In terms of my targets, let me put my first target here toward the low of the day, try to get something out of this, and then I'm going to put my second target. Normally I'd leave this open, but I want to put this near that 45 level. put that near that 45 level because we would expect this to be some support down here. Whether it is or not, if the market gets there is hard to say. But again, that's something where if this was a trade on the long side, I wouldn't have that target there, that final target. I'd like to see how far it could run out. So it's just a matter of we'll see. So this video doesn't get too long. I will pause the video for now and come back when something happens one way or the other. Okay? Okay, real quick. We came within a tick of hitting the first target there, and I could feel a little anxiety creeping in, and I talked to a lot of traders that I think are faced with this a lot, this issue where, what do I want to do? Do I just want to bail in the trade and take a 1 or 2 tick profit right now? Do I want to, I could do that, right? But a lot of people, I think, do that because what happens? They get scared. They get scared to lose on the trade. And again, I can feel a little anxiety creeping in. And I'm adding to it that I'm doing this video. I'd like it to work out, certainly. I'm going to send it out whether it does or doesn't, but I'd like it to work out, certainly. So what do I do right now? Do I bail on it? Right now I could get a break even, basically, okay? Or I still have a 6 tick risk on the trade, okay? So do I want to lose 6 ticks? Of course I don't. But at this point, what I am determining that I want to do is I'm going to stick in this trade because I haven't seen any reason yet to get out, okay? I think this is kind of a key point for a lot of traders is how you handle these, when the market's just right around break even or taking a small loss or you got a small win. What do? Do you stick to your plan or not? And it's hard to do. I'm not trying to put myself out there as this, best trader ever. That's not the point. But I'm saying what I really try to focus on is my plan. Okay, my plan going into this trade is I think I have edge. I want to see it move in my direction pretty quickly, and then I'm going to reduce my stop, and I'm still going to reserve the right to bail if I start to see some buying come in. So maybe I could lose a few fewer ticks than I have, right there. But again, I feel like the reason I got into the trade is still valid, so I have to kind of sit through this. Even though I have some anxiety, I have to sit through this. That's my plan. I think what happens is if you're always now if your plan is to take 2 or 3 or 4 ticks at a time, and that's your trade plan, great. That's your trade plan. That's not my trade plan. My trade plan is to try to get some bigger winners if they'll come around. Okay, great. Now I hit the first target, and now I've got a situation where I can still take it's basically a break-even scenario. So I can breathe a little bit easier in a sense that I know money-wise my risk is reduced, but the thought process is still the same. I'm going to leave because again I'm still fighting it a little bit, bigger picture. And I expect this 45 to be some support, bigger picture. I'm going to just leave a target here a little above that, and if I hit it, great. If not, I want to kind of manage this trade. If I see some buying that starts to come in, I'll do that. Now what I will do here is, because we had this, again, it's a level 1, so it's not something you want to go dancing in the street about. It's telling you there's a little more than normal selling that's come in. That's good. It's what I want. We've also kind of got this what we call an intra-range fractal there right at my entry. If this gets taken out and that intra-range fractal gets taken out, this market probably, we're testing the lows. If the sellers are really in control right now, I want them to kind of get through there pretty quickly. So I am going to reduce this this stop a little bit. I'll put it basically 1 tick above my my entry. And again, if I was with the bigger picture bias, I would not do that. I would keep my risk there because I think the opportunity is greater. But the fact that we're making new lows here by a tick, we've decelerated, we haven't had a big wave of selling, doesn't mean it can't come in, but we haven't seen that yet. It means I just want to protect myself a little bit more because again, this is a trade in which I want to be a little more nimble. So I hope that makes sense. I will pause the video again and come back when something more happens. Okay, now we've just broken lower again, which is again a good sign for this trade. It was still on a level 1, so if this was a level 2, I would bring my stop to a couple ticks above that. It's just a level 1, so I'm still going to just leave it here and hope that the market may oscillate a little bit. I don't have much risk on the trade. I've got a small profit guaranteed at this point. I think you could make a case for putting a stop right here if you wanted, or even right here. I'm just going to leave it as is, and hopefully we head down and hit this before my stops hit. But again, if this was a level 2 bar instead of a level 1, then I would move my stop down because I would expect there to be more strength behind that. So we'll see. I'll pause it again. Okay, at this point we're getting a pretty good bar, so I'm guessing with pretty good certainty, and I could look at a shorter term chart even to know more, but I'm guessing that's going to be a level 2 or level 3. So I'm going to bring my stop there. Yeah, there it is, level 2. I'm going to bring my stop there. At this point, we're either going to hit my target, or I'm going to get stopped out up here. Either way, I can live with that. It's been a good trade. I've been very happy with the trade and how I managed it and that sort of thing. So we'll just see. At this point. And I mean, I suppose you can make the case just get out at the market. We're close enough, and I think that's reasonable if you were to do that. I mean, do I want to risk 3 points to make another tick? I mean, I think that's pretty valid. Let's just see if it gets filled. But I think in this case, probably just go ahead and move it there, and we'll see. But again, this is. I don't know if this is contradictory to what I said earlier about bailing at the market versus sticking with your plan, but I think I'm just going to get out right there because again, this is kind of a somewhat arbitrary target on the based on a bigger picture level. It's not at the beginning of my trade, so I have to ask again. It's weighing risk versus reward. Do I want to get another 1 or 2 ticks? Do I want to risk 3 ticks to get, 3 points, 12 ticks? Or even 8 ticks to get another 1 or 2. To me, it doesn't seem worth it. So in this case, I've already got a nice profit. Let's lock that in and just go from there. So, that's my take. Going forward, I'll be curious to see what happens around this 45. Do we start to get some buying, or does this level get just taken out and with some bearish activity? We'll see. But again, I'm happy with the trade here, and hopefully we're able to learn something with that. And let us know if you have any questions. Thanks.